Welcome to FCN, and this is your quick news of the day. Let's roll that footage.
New details after street takeovers in South Florida. Police making arrests during a troubling holiday tradition. 7's Alex Browning is live in Miami with the story. Alex?
And surprisingly, Alex, we have been outside the police impound lot all morning long. No one's showing up to claim their ATVs, their bikes, their cars. But those who were arrested, some of them did appear in front of a Miami-Dade judge.
From one block to the next and from day to night, riders disrupting MLK Dade traffic, some able to evade, others not so lucky.
Here we go, you got somebody down here.
One man's night ride along Biscayne interrupted.
We just had the police take a couple guys into custody here.
You guys have been around the city all day.
Cops telling him he's been taken in for trespassing, a bike loaded up as evidence.
They're just assembling.
The pack of riders wheelied and winded their way through busy Miami traffic and onto the Brickell Bridge, a scene and made fun of on social media.
I like to enjoy watching them ride and like do their tricks and stuff.
You know that the concern by people who are riding and by the police is that you guys are going to get out in traffic and hurt yourselves or somebody else.
Yeah.
These bikers giving 7 Sheldon Fox video of their viewpoint, including this trek through the MLK Day parade.
Isn't it dangerous though or no?
It is to an extent, but that's an inherent risk that we take. That's with any sport that you take.
But what about putting people's lives at risk who are on the road or other pedestrians?
I get that.
A risky ride that ended with more than 20 guns seized, 169 arrested.
So he's riding an ATV on the street and they try to stop him.
Including Jason Lewis, who was in court Tuesday.
He didn't stop,
and then he fled into somebody's yard.
So
I didn't know who it was. I got scared.
Jason, stop talking.
Close to 700 citations written and more than 100 vehicles seized.
And so Miami-Dade police planning a press conference at 1 o'clock this afternoon to give a bit of a debriefing on that effort through the holiday weekend. We'll be there. We're live in Miami this noon. Alex Browning, 7 News.
Somebody look at this. Let's pull up the article, because this is our people wilding out on Martin Luther King's holiday. Watch this. Let's read that.
Over 160 arrests made after riders took to the streets in annual tradition on MLK holiday.
And it says over 160 arrests. This is an annual tradition. Now, we're going to find out that this is not a tradition of God. This is not a tradition that our people should be following. Read on.
New details were released after officers made several arrests during a Martin Luther King Jr. tradition known as Wheels Up, Guns Down.
So wheels up, you got them popping wheelies on bicycles. You got them riding motorcycles, ATVs, okay, all on the streets, unlicensed vehicles. That's the first problem they're having right there. Okay, somebody, when you have your vehicle, the laws of the land tell you got to have a license plate. It got to be registered. Okay, it got to be vehicles allowed by the law to be out on the roads. They're doing these things on the highways. Okay, interstate highways. All right, watch this. Give me Romans chapter 13 and verse 1. Let's read that.
The book of Romans chapter 13 and verse 1.
Read the verse 3.
Verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works.
They're not a what?
A terror to good works.
All right. So the rulers, the rules that we have out here, they're for us, what to live by. Okay. They're supposed to keep us in check. There's always order. And the Most High set that order. And we're going to read about that. Read on.
But to the evil, wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good.
For what?
To thee for good.
For good. So the laws of the land set up by the Most High is for our good. Okay? Read that verse again.
For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid.
Be afraid. That's why they had 160 arrests. They weren't afraid, but that judgment came. All right, so this is in the Bible, and this is in the New Testament, so you can't say, oh, brother, that's the Old Testament, brother. Nah, that's the New Testament. This is in Romans chapter 13. Is that it on that?
For he beareth not the sword in vain.
All right, so, the police, they got their sword. They ain't got no, He-Man sword or Conan the Barbarian sword. They got those guns. All right. So let's go back to the article. All right. Let's read that. Continue reading.
Over 100 riders took to the street on Monday. From one block to the next in Miami and from day to night, riders disrupted Martin Luther King Jr. Day traffic.
They did what?
Disrupted Martin Luther King Jr. Day traffic.
So how is that any good? They were literally, I've been in traffic before and I've seen them. They were cut in front of cars, causing accidents, dangerous stuff, popping wheelies on motorcycles and ATVs all on the road. This is not orderly. This is nothing good. Okay? They're disrupting traffic. That's not what godly men and women are supposed to be doing. Okay? Read on.
While some riders were able to evade officers, others were not so lucky.
Others were not so lucky. Because let me tell you, when you hear in the MIA, oh, they gonna get you. They gonna get you. Read.
On Tuesday, 34-year-old Jason Lewis appeared in court. He's riding an ATV on the street, and they tried to stop him, said Jude Mindy S. Glazer. Lewis was charged with fleeing and invading an officer and resisting an officer without violence to his person.
You see, that easy. That easy because he wasn't thinking. He was trying to follow what this annual tradition on a holiday, which is not in the Bible, that our people are accustomed to doing. Give me that in 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 22. Because we can't just be following stuff that make no sense. All right? Celebrating Martin Luther King, yes, we acknowledge people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, people in the civil rights movement, Harriet Tubman. We acknowledge our forefathers, foremothers for the stuff that they did, because if it wasn't for them in the civil rights movement, we wouldn't have some of these privileges we have now. But, okay, nowhere in the Bible does it tell us to celebrate a day for them. Okay, that's where the mistake happens. So let's read that.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 22. Lay hands suddenly on no man. Neither be partaker of other men's sins.
Neither be partaker of other man's sins. And we always fall in a multitude to do evil. And that's why they got 160 people. They didn't just get, what was the brother's name again? It was, pull that article back up.
Lewis.
They didn't just get Lewis. They got 159 other people. Okay, because they are following other people's sins. It's a sin to celebrate holidays that are not in the Bible and to not obey the laws of the land. Let's go back to the article.
During Monday's event, plenty of riders were seen at a Biscayne Boulevard and 34th Street gas station that was captured on aerial footage by 7 Skyforce. 7 Skyforce followed the riders as they started their trip near Miami Edison Middle School. Throughout the evening, riders wheeled and wended their way through busy Miami traffic. 7 news cameras captured one person who was detained and placed inside the back of a police cruiser.
So they just picking them up one by one. Read on.
Police told the man that he was being taken in for trespassing.
They not obeying the laws of the land. Can't be having ATVs out there, and you can't be riding them in places where they're not supposed to be. All right? That's trespassing. You should know better if you was reading your laws. Read.
His bike was also taken in as evidence. The pack of riders wheelied and wended their way through busy Miami traffic and onto the Brickell Bridge, which is being made fun of on social media. On Friday night, Miami-Dade police prevented a street takeover near Miami International Airport in northwest Miami-Dade. It was a risky ride that ended with more than 20 guns seized, 169 arrested, and close to 700 citations written. Police also said that more than 100 vehicles were seized. Miami-Dade police are planning to have a press conference at 1 p.m. to give a debriefing on their efforts to control the situation that occurred during the holiday weekend.
During the what?
The holiday weekend.
Okay, so that's another problem. That's not a holiday. Okay, when you say holiday, that means holy day. That's not a holy day. Give me Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. All right, they were on MLK. All right, so let's get that, man.
The book of Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
So the Bible warns, it says, beware. Don't let nobody fool you to celebrating all this stuff everybody want to do. Come on, let's go get on this, rent some ATVs and ride out in the street on a turnpike on a 95 and just act stupid and wave our guns like idiots. No, okay, we don't do that. Okay, on MLK, no. We're not going to do that on Martin Luther King Boulevard. We're not going to do that on I-95 or the Turnpike or any highway doing idiotic stuff, all right? Because that's not a holiday in the Bible.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word, his word, his word.